Hello, welcome to Plant-Based Large Family. I'll start off by letting you know where everything is located in the garden, and then we'll talk about specifics, what's going on. You can see right there in the corner, that is some manure tea that I've been spraying on our plants. Really, I've just been spraying it kind of everywhere to make our soil really healthy and in turn making our plants really healthy. So in this section is covered by trees most of the day, and so even though it's getting really warm here in zone 7B, I threw some lettuce down to see if we could still harvest some lettuce even when it gets really warm. Okay, so right in front of that place where I just dumped some lettuce seeds, I just wanted to show you. I think it's been about 4 days since I planted the sweet potato slips, and that one has rebounded all the way. This one has not, but it will. 2 days or so, another good rain. They still look pretty droopy, but like I said, just keep watering. It has not been a whole week. They'll pop back and they'll start spreading. In this middle part, I've already shown you I have beans and corn coming up. Our beans get eaten by Mexican bean beetles every year, and again, I'm just trying to make our soil healthy. And I'll put some diatomaceous earth on it. Whenever there are not flowers, that's where I'll put diatomaceous earth. Once they start producing flowers, I stop doing that so I don't hurt the bees. But then I've also put wood ash down for minerals, and again, this manure tea, this compost tea. This section had transplants from the jars, from the milk jugs that overwintered, and none of them survived except for the nasturtiums. But I planted seeds after, and we're starting to get some of those up. And here I'm planting all my squashes, winter and summer, because nasturtiums are supposed to keep squash bugs away. Here is a potato patch. I planted these first. I planted these second. You can see they're just starting to come up, starting to pop through. In my last video, when I showed you how to plant beans in the Back to Eden garden, I accidentally left the seed packet out, and it did rain, like I said it was going to, and they got soaking wet. So this has some cabbage and broccoli in this bed, but I had to interplant beans because I don't have room for beans really right now in the garden. But those beans were already soaking wet after the rain, so I had to go ahead and plant them. So there's another bean and there's a cabbage. So I don't know if I'm going to cover this bed. You can see this, I think this is broccoli, is starting to get eaten alive. So I normally would cover a bed full of brassicas, but not necessarily beans. I don't know. Maybe if I cover it, it'll keep the bean beetles from coming. So I don't know. Maybe I should do that. The peas did not survive the frost very well. So my daughter planted corn here. You can see the corn right next to the peas. There are some of the peas, you can see did well, but it's just really sparse. And since we had the room, she went ahead and planted her corn patch here. And these are the beans that I showed you how to plant. I'll put up on the screen when it was, so I just can't remember right now. But they've already come up pretty quickly because it rained basically 2 days straight after I planted them. They're the beans, the corn, and here's one of my brassica beds. So in here I've planted purple sprouting broccolis. I just transplanted stuff that was planted underneath the shaded area, so I actually didn't even know what I was planting. I mean, I could tell something that looked like broccoli and some that looked like cabbages, but so like this is broccoli, this is purple sprouting broccoli. I'll just pull that and throw that to the to the chickens. And then you see there's the tall is broccoli, and then the short ones are cabbages. In between, those are all beets that I planted. Just interplant them. And then there's some weeds that I need to pull. And then last year, this was a tomato bed. And so I actually have some, I don't know if you can see, but I have some tomatoes growing as well. I'll probably just transplant them. So this bed's looking good. As long as you keep it covered, it keeps the cabbage moths away. Okay, past this bean bed, these are some perennials. Oh, actually, past the bean bed are some more beans that I planted earlier. And the bean beetles are just eating those up. I'll have to put some DE on those. Anyway, here's some perennials that someone gave me last year, and they survived the winter really well. Past that, I have peas. Actually, I don't know, I guess I forgot about peas, and so I didn't put that into the equation of where everything is going to be planted. So most of them are in between a pretty large magnolia tree and a Japanese fireball. So they are not growing very well, very quickly, and I've never planted anything here. So you can see the soil's not very good with how yellow those are. However, these are getting a lot more sun, and they're growing a lot taller. They're doing a lot better. There's my perennials, and then here I planted some gladiolas. Just trying to use all the area I can. Here's another potato bed. Right next to that, I planted some more beans. In front of the potato bed, my lettuces that I planted from the milk jugs. They were started in the milk jugs. Here's our apple tree. And here are the strawberries, but I'm trying not to do fruit since I did fruit last time. I'm trying to stick to vegetables this time. Some spinach that I planted underneath the apple tree. Behind the apple tree, another potato bed. And for reference, there's the bean bed, the corn bed. Okay, well, let me show you some sweet potatoes. These survived the frost. These tomato plants, they survived the frost. And we're starting to get some flowers. And the eggplant survived the frost. So that's awesome. Let's see. This one did not survive the frost, but I planted a new tomato seed, and that's coming up. Here are the carrots I showed you last time. This is my first planting of carrots. That's in this bed. And I showed you these last time. These are our overwintered carrots. The tomatoes in this bed did not survive, so I planted seeds. You can see that starting to come up. And these are our overwintered spinach, and they have officially bolted. I need to throw those to the chickens. More sweet potato slips. In this bed, I've planted some I planted some tomato seeds. They've come up. Carrots that I showed you last time. Starting to get some color in our strawberries. So that's good. I came out this afternoon to look at the strawberries and saw that 2 had already been eaten by groundhogs. So we went ahead and set up the electric fence and turned it on. Our cat takes care of most of the pests, but groundhogs are bigger than her, and she's not stupid. She's not going to go after something that's bigger than her. So we have to take care of the groundhog. Well, we're hoping to take care of the groundhogs with the electric fence. We're hoping to deter the groundhogs with the electric fence. More potatoes. All our potatoes are flowering. Well, right now they're just buds, but they're just on the cusp of flowering. Another bed of potatoes. And I already showed these in the last video, or in the video on planting, but here are some cucumbers. And here's sunflowers, and they're planted all along the side of the road. So here you can't see anything, but I'll just tell you. Tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, carrots, beets, and then some melons. And I don't really know what to do with these melons. There's not very much room. I'd love to get some cattle panel and set it up like an arch and just have these climb that. So we'll see what happens with that. More potatoes, another potato bed. Starting to fill out. I planted, if you can see, you can tell, I planted these first and these second. You can see they're not filled in as much as these. And these have lots of buds and they've already started to flower. They're so pretty. And next to our potato patch down here is another brassica bed. This brassica bed is not as filled out. Oh, look at those weeds I need to pull. This was kind of an afterthought, but we have lots of cabbages in here. Think maybe some cauliflower, some beets, if I can find them. Let's see, those are beets. Planted those late. They're starting to come up. This is kind of an afterthought bed. Just I had too many transplants. Here I had planted some watermelon seeds, or some watermelon transplants from the milk jugs, and they did not survive the frost. So I have since planted some more seeds, and they're starting to come through. In here, I'm not going to go in, but I don't know if you can see little pieces of grass. They're not grass, they're onions. So those are our onion transplants from the milk jugs. And then that bit of green, that's celery that I grew over winter from the milk jugs. And then here, you probably can't see that at all, but in there I planted some more carrots because I'm running out of room. And last but not least is it my third? Yeah, our third corn patch. This one's doing really well. We actually just ripped the tarp off of this. So this is a new section, and normally new sections don't do well, but we had a lot of chicken manure, and I just kind of piled it on here. And it had 3 months about to decompose, and so they're doing really well. The corn's doing really well here. And that I planted, you can see, at the bottom of my raspberry patch and the bottom of our blueberry patch. So I know this is all about vegetables, but just to show you, since my last video on fruit, they've gotten quite large. Doing really well. So I think that's it. I'm running out of room. As all gardeners can say, I need a bigger garden. So this is our Back to Eden garden. When is it? Mid-May? Almost mid-May. I'll try to keep you updated as the summer goes on. Have a great day.